Alrighty, we'll check this out. And welcome to the stream. I know I'm doing one early today. Today's Friday, and I'm still trying to get this show straightened up. Doing one early today, of course. Eastern Standard Time, 3 o'clock. Is it 3 o'clock? Yep, 3 o'clock. And I'm gonna do one late at night, and of course, then we'll follow the normal schedule. That's all week. So I've been really hectic, busy, helping students from high school to college, as well as some actually a company helping them out, training some folks at their facility. So what I'm all this channel is about is sharing knowledge, teaching folks. Pretty much when it comes to Python, as far as data science, data analytics, 3D animation, film, digital video editing, comes to Autodesk Maya, going to DaVinci Resolve, mixing all of that up in there. From beginners to kind of touching a little bit of the advanced stuff, and then throwing Python in there as far as Maya is concerned, and I'm using Maya 2026. And then going into also on Unreal Engine, that's the end of the week. And going into Blueprints, C++. So mixing things around and using other different entities, different packages. So students, we talk about the teens and young adults as far as their late teens, early 20s, who are maybe going to college for software engineering, game developed and designed, special effects, digital media. Hey, I'm just sharing a kind of wealth of knowledge, my experience, and what I see out there. Things are changing. But things is going by so fast, it's ridiculous. So today, you can see my screen. I'm gonna start something new. That was from the last episode. And today I did get an email from, sounded like a college student. No, 3 college students who I don't even teach. They're not even in the state. And looks like 2 high school students. Actually look like they're seniors. So I'm looking at them because I'm looking at their email messages because it looks like they're all kind of do the same thing. I hope there's not a class project. But anyway, either way, they wanted to see how Python can actually really, because what they're learning is like adding normal operations, like figure out the average. They saw the previous videos, but they wanted to see what Python can really do out there. And it's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna freak you out. For you guys, really gonna freak you out. So let's check it out. Today's topic, they're talking about EVs, and no, we're not talking about sales, but we're talking about well, this is what I wrote. And if I'm looking over here, I'm making sure I'm looking at my chat, because last time I had somebody and I didn't even acknowledge them. I acknowledged them after I closed it. So I want to make sure I see everybody, so I could see like what's happening. I'm trying to make sure I have my Twitch up. Looks like try to make sure everything's up, going to the channel so I can actually see, so I can respond to them. So I have my chat up because I feel bad that I didn't respond to the individuals. So because I said, it says that you should acknowledge them as soon as possible, give it a shout out and stuff like that. So anyway, enough talk. All right, so I wrote a nice little script, trying to act professional. So pretty much it's about electric vehicles, EVs. So we're doing a little mini lab. So I think it's good for grades. I'm gonna say 11 on up, but hey, you could be that 9th or 10th grader, like really gung-ho, go for it. Do you need any special software? No, with the Python, if you have Visual Studio Code, like I have up here, which is a free download for Microsoft website. Again, go to Microsoft's website. Don't go to any other sites. If somebody says, hey, click this link, no, go to Microsoft's website. Go to Microsoft.com, then you can see links for Visual Studio Code, or you can do visualstudiocode.microsoft.com. Okay, so you can do that type of stuff. I'll even bring it up on the screen for you guys. Yeah, let me do that now. Visual Studio Code. So in other words, if I was looking for stuff, type in Visual Studio Code, and I will type Microsoft on it. So there it is. There it is, Visual Studio Code. Again, you could get here from Microsoft's website. So it is available for Windows, the Mac OS, as well as Linux. So there's a Chrome OS version, but you can't really install packages yet. It's gotten better. I'm just telling you what, it's gotten better. And Microsoft, you keep doing what you're doing. It has gotten better, where you can see a lot more things and be able to do things, because you can see a lot more kids. They have Chromebooks. All right, topic for today is, are 100% electric cars growing faster than plug-in hybrids in Washington State? That's what we're looking at. And why we're in Washington State? Well, we're not making this stuff up. We're going to go get some real data. Okay, I'm going to get some real data. So I try, folks, like, instead of making up stuff, go get some real good data. So what I'm going to do, we're going to go to Data.gov. All right, Data.gov. And this is where, and if you can't see it on my screen, okay, if you can't see it on my screen, I'll zoom in on it a little bit. So, zoom in, hold on. Okay, so go to Data.gov, all right, great website. The way it's managed by our government, resources from a lot of things. You could do work and practice with real data. And we're not talking about like rows like 1 to 5 or 1 to 100. We're talking about thousands, like in the millions of records and stuff like that. So make sure your computer, your internet is pretty good and solid. If not, go to a local library and download that thing here. All right, so we're gonna go to data. Okay, so but other than that, you can look for stuff. If you want to type something in here, we're gonna go to data because we're gonna look around. And you can see where you can break it down by categories, and yeah, there it is. It's still there. So here, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Okay, so again, there's a lot of data sets found in here. So when I say data set, one data set is one, think of one database record, not a record within a database file. Now, the way some things are, you can have a database file with multitude of tables, okay, storing a lot of information in there. So, and you have queries. Queries means like filters, extracting things, join by, group by, order by, sort by. I'm thinking of SQL, right? And so think of something like that, a database with a huge amount of table or tables. So that's where you have like data sets. In this case, we're gonna download a CSV file, okay? We're gonna download a CSV file right here. Click it. Now, when you click it, all right, you're gonna notice, did I do it? Yep. You're gonna see it's going. Now, I have a multi-gig internet connection, right? It's 2 gigs. And I'm connected to a fast cable modem through my fast router, so really there's no bottleneck. So you could just see here, okay, that it's going, all right? It's getting that information, it's downloading. And if I look at here, right, all right, you can see it's in progress. If I click on here, all right, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. All right, so it's still going. You can see I did it 7 hours ago just to make sure this worked. So you can see like, woo, it's huge. It's huge, 62 megs. All right. So for you, it may take a bit. So I just want to make sure you're good with that. All right. So it downloaded. But if this was going on, if it was still downloading to where you're going, in the meantime, if you don't have Python, download it. All right. So go through the extensions. Again, I trust the Microsoft stuff. So go to Microsoft and type in Python and install Python. Okay. So I always do the 3. I think these 2 are redundant, but I'll do the 1, then the 2, 3. This can actually being like it may interrupt, but you're not losing certain things, right? Because there's certain features that may not work with each other if you're using it at the same time. So it's like using Excel and Lotus 1, 2, 3 at the same time in the same file. Lotus 1, 2, 3. That's talking my age, right? A lot of you guys don't even know what I'm talking about. And after you install the extensions, restart your computer. Okay, restart your computer. Not just the browser, but just restart it because you want to make sure everything's like kind of working out. And then create a folder. You can create a folder from your Explorer, okay, that's embedded within a Visual Studio Code, right? And create a folder and open folder. Okay, so these are files and folders. If you want to know how to do that, you can watch the previous versions. So this, even though this video sits on Twitch for a week, 7 days, I also immediately send it over to YouTube, long form, and I have some shorts in there. I think I had one person email me and say, hey, can you make it shorter? It's tough to make something an hour and a half to 2 hours into like 5 minutes. It's tough, but I did do that with one topic. I changed it from an hour and a half, 2 hours to like 56 minutes. So it's tough. So it's tough out there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab that file and put it in here. So, and this is my folder that I'm using, my stats for this project for you guys. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring up File Explorer. Okay. File Explorer, and I did put in my downloads. Hey, there's me again. And there it is. That's the most current one. But what I'm gonna do is, because things may have changed by the time I did this. Did this a couple days ago. So what I'm gonna do, you can see I did it more than once. I'm gonna take this file, all right, and I'm gonna drag it over. Yeah, drag it over with my left hand. I mean, you can open it and save it, but look at corners. I'm gonna drag it over. And don't show what we got. Poof. Okay, and there's my file. It's in that folder. And what it allows me to do, and you can see all the data. I mean, look at this. Look at this, guys. Look at this. This is huge, right? This is a lot here. So there's a lot of information. It's woo, talking about thousands of records, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rename it. Okay. I'm gonna rename it, and just to take this out. Okay, I hate spaces because when you're writing code, depending what package you have, it may work with the space, it may not. Python's been really friendly with that, but if you're writing script to write a name of the file, you end up having some issues. So I try not to do that. So it is good if you want to do like a quick look to see if it's clean. Okay, so it has your VIN number, VIN numbers, county, city, state, postal. So this is actually, like I said, real data, and you can get it from Data.gov. A lot of people say, yo, that's confidential information. People have to keep track. I mean, it's a car that's made by a public company, and the company has to list items that are out there, what they sold, not sold, you know, in case there's an issue, this and that, or there's an accident, a car blew up. It's public knowledge, right? So anyway, let me close the arcade store. This is from last week's project. And we'll close this. We don't need this. All right, so I have my data file. All right, so what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna line myself up. What I'm gonna do is I am going to name my file here, right? I'm checking the chat. I gotta check the chat to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Okay. All right. I'm just looking. All right. So the way I have my script is, the topic for today is, are 100% electric cars growing faster than plug-in hybrids in Washington State? So you could look at different states, right? So I don't want to do the whole country because that's some big data. All right, the data source I'm using is Data.gov, and as you can see, it's the electric vehicle population, or data file, and we downloaded it as a CSV file. Okay, now you're gonna notice that what we're gonna do is we have Python installed, and we're gonna use Panda because we're opening a file. We're looking at data in a file. So Pandas, P-A-N-D-A-S. It's a library package for Python. It's free, library package for Python. It allows you to open up and read files, and you can sort them. It's great. And then we're going to use NumPy. NumPy is numbers Python. It's when we're doing some complex data analysis as far as like beyond statistics. Well, it's still statistics, but we're going to do a little bit more than that. We do comparisons, we see if there are regressions and stuff like that. Where normal stats, you can do standard deviation, averages, max, mean, and all that. little stuff in mood and stuff like that. But NumPy takes it to another level. So what we're gonna also use is Matplotlib. Okay, Matplotlib allows you to create charts, graphs, line graphs. You can do comparisons, like visuals, right? Really nice graphs. With the data that you have. And then, of course, OpenPyXL, OPXL. It's OpenPyXL. What that allows you to do is not only read, but write. In other words, I could create an Excel file with sorted information, this and that. So let's say you have customers or you have a person that doesn't have an Excel license. Some people say, well, I'll use Google Sheets. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't have Google Sheets. So yeah, I can get Google Sheets, but I don't have Google Sheets. Maybe I don't have access to Google Sheets. So I can use Python to create an Excel file and send that to you. Basically how I want it sorted, this and that. And let's say you're on the road using your phone and you have that Excel reader, you can read it. But then there's another one called Folium. This allows you to do some serious visuals based on the data that you have. And what we're gonna do at the end, it's gonna be mind-boggling. It's gonna be mind-boggling. We're gonna have a state of Washington, and we're gonna have all the cars, where they're at, where you see them the most. Go in, zoom in, click on them. Basically a geospatial map based on our data, okay, in our zip code where it is. That's what's so awesome about Python. You're like, argh! And this is not new technology. This has always been around. So check this out. So we loaded our file, okay? So that's a real data set. And we're gonna do some things. So we're gonna count and compare the battery operated EVs versus the hybrid EVs over time and growth. We're gonna make a line chart and create an Excel report showing the top 5 models per year. Yeah, that makes good. And then we'll build an interactive map using Folium showing vehicle locations. So watch. So that's the power of Python. We're not even using some other programs, but that's the power of Python. All right, so now keep in mind, Pandas is Excel for Python. All right, it reads the CSV file and lets us filter, group count, and export tables. NumPy helps with fast math like growth changes and percentage changes. Matplotlib makes charts over, line charts, graphs, great stuff. OpenPyXL saves Excel files. Pandas uses it behind the scenes. All right, like you saw how I opened it up. You click it, and it looks like I'm opening it up. All right, but I'm not going to be using it. All right, and the Folium builds an interactive map, like Google Maps style, right? And saves it to the HTML file. That's the secret. No HTML coding. Yo, those web page designers back in the days using HTML and CSS, don't need you. Especially if you have somebody who can create this stuff using Python and putting it on the web server for you. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a file, and we'll do it from here. So we have a new file, new folder. Here, we're gonna just hit new file. All right, and let me see. I'm trying to make sure because I'm not one of those speed typings. We're gonna type it as EV lab. This is our lab file. .py. All right, so that's our file. All right, so then I don't need this. I'm good. And let's open this up a little bit and close this. All right, so this is our file. Okay, and remember, I have my file in the same folder as my data. If I had my data in another folder, okay, and I gotta check my chat. If I have my data in another folder, then what I would do is make sure I have the path that's set up for it, okay? A lot of kids forget that, and they'll have it somewhere else. Says, hey, no file found, no such data, no such file in the directory. I'm like, you forgot to create the data file in the proper folder. You forgot to create the folder. So a lot of kids panic on that one. So, all right. Now, again, if you don't have, and let me close this. If you don't have the packages that I told you about, just type in pip, okay? And that's, you're in terminal, right? This is terminal. So I'm using PowerShell, and that's that PS that you see here. Okay, that's PowerShell. And I'm in a virtual drive, and I created a folder called My Stats. So pip, okay, and install. okay? And then if you don't have Pandas, all right? If you don't have NumPy, okay? If you don't have Matplotlib, okay, Matplotlib, yep, Matplotlib, and Folium, okay? And of course, OpenPyXL, OpenPyXL, okay? Now, since I have it, let's see what happens, right? I'm gonna hit enter. Okay, so it's looking, solid packages, successfully installed. So everything's installed. But if it wasn't installed, like see, it says requirement already satisfied. If it wasn't installed, you see these beautiful red and orange lines, and you'll see progress bar. It'll be green by the time it's done. And then some people say, I think it froze. It's froze. Look, it's froze. Keep reading the rest. You're probably looking at past history at the top, but look at the bottom. If it says everything's successfully installed, okay, then you're good. Okay, then you're good. All right. So again, you can do one at a time. Pip install Pandas, then pip install NumPy, pip install Matplotlib, pip install Folium, pip install OpenPyXL. You can do it manually. Okay. Now, again, after everything's installed, if you're not sure, click close out Visual Studio Code and go back into that. All right. So now we got, yeah, that's step one. Let's call that step one. Or no, let's call that step 0. That's your setup. All right. So here we go. So we're going to load the data and preview it, which we did. Okay. So remember, I clicked on my Explorer right here. I looked at it. It looked good. I saw rows and columns. I saw column names. This is my first 5 rows. It looked pretty good. Okay. So, and again, if you're not sure, again, just look at it. I see my columns. I see my rows. It looks pretty good. You go all the way across. So I got census tract, utility, vehicle location, which is good, right? All right. District, legislative, electric red. So I got my headers at the top. Okay. So it looks clean. But if it's like all over the place, now you may have to clean it. Open up Excel to try to clean it. Sort them out. Sometimes you have spaces and columns where they're not supposed to be, or places where columns are supposed to be. All right. So that's step 1. We're cleaning. Okay. So in this case, Data.gov does a pretty good job in giving us the files, right? All right. Step 2. Now we're going to compare battery operated EVs versus the powered hybrid EVs, right? Growth by year. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to filter only. Oh, let me close this. We're going to filter only. Forgive me, I'm still looking at my chat to make sure there's everything there. So, and I'm looking at 2 different cameras. We're going to filter only BEVs, battery operated EVs, and power hybrid EVs by rows, and group by model, year, and EV type. So we're going to make a table and then apply the launch type. Okay. So that's step 2. All right. So check this out. All right. So how are we going to do that? All right. A lot of people say, what? All right. So let me see. I'm just want to make sure everybody's here. Make sure everybody's there. All right. So I think everybody's there. All right. So first off, we need Panda. We need to use Panda. Now, because we have Panda installed, we got to import it. Import the library. What this does is a connection to the library, the big folder, and it goes back and forth. And right now, what I did was I said import Pandas, that's the library, but I don't like typing that much. So we created an alias called PD. You could call it whatever you want, but in this case, the norm PD. You could call it PI. No, you can't. Don't use PI. You can, but don't use PI, because then if you start, if you import the Mat library, then you're gonna have a problem with PI. So we'll call it PD, which try to come up with a basic standard norm. All right, so we got import Panda. Now, the next one, we're gonna load the data. All right, so this is where we're gonna create a data frame. All right, so you have DF. All right, so we're gonna go Panda, open in the Panda library, hit decimal, and we have all this, right? Remember, variable DF, we're creating a data frame. All right, so what we're gonna do, we want to read the file. All right, so read, and what type of file is it? It's a CSV. Not just really like it. Look, Excel table. Oh, I love Python. All right, we're gonna read it as CSV file. And since I'm in the same folder, all right, so electric, and I don't like typing. we have this, right? So I can click on this. And what I'm gonna do is Control C, close out this folder, go there, go here, and poof. So I now have the name of the file, so I don't accidentally rename it as something else. Now, easy trick is when you download the file, you can name it to like something like 2, 3, 4, 5 letters, okay? But like I said, you don't have to. You can just type it. Oh, also, you could put notes in here, like I mentioned before. Like this is step 1. I'm loading data. Okay. So, and this is for yourself. So if somebody came behind you, like you had a person that worked on your project together, you could actually come in and see, hey, does this work? Oh, I want to make sure. Do I have any check? And I thought I had something. Nope. Okay. No, I'm good. Okay. You want to make sure it works, and there are no issues. There are no issues. All right. And I said no issues. I want to make sure everything works. There's no issues. But at the same time, you want to make sure like whoever comes to be after you, or you're working with a colleague, this and that, all right, and stuff like that. And don't forget, remember when you have a circle, all right, that means that it's not saved, right? So Control S, save or file save. All right. So now I'm going to do a basic check. All right. So I'm going to do a basic check. I'm going to see what some of this stuff looks like. So let's print. Okay. So we're going to print out some rows, right? So shape. Okay. And rows. And this is what happens when you have a wide screen, you have a small screen, and you're typing, and you're saying to yourself, am I looking this way? So, all right. And then remember our data frame. Okay. Our data frame, DF. That's up there, and we're looking for shape. Okay, we're looking for shape. All right, so I'm gonna show you what shape is. It's a feature, but I'm gonna show you what it is. We're creating a table with rows and columns. That's our shape, and we called it this. Oh. Doesn't mean anything, but I'm trying to make it look nice and pretty. So print. Okay, inside. This mic, my keyboard. I'm gonna pull my keyboard a little closer to me. All right, so I got print shape, and we'll tab it over. Well, we're gonna put a new line. /n creates a new line. Okay, /t tabs it over. Just want to give you guys a heads up. Tabs it over. Keeps the tab key. Allows you to do it. If you can't do it manually, don't do the spaces. But /n gives you a new line. Instead of you typing print with quotation marks and then go to the next line. Okay, so again, I hate typing. So we'll do columns. Okay, oops. All right, columns. And then, oops, I didn't want to close that. Okay, and then we'll do new line again. Okay, so again, okay, so I got the comma, and then of course, I'm going into my data frame. All right, and I'm looking for columns. Yep, it's there. So I got my columns, right? So again, it's a basic check. Okay, basic check. And let's see, we're gonna preview, okay, the first 5 rows. Okay, so print. Okay, preview the first 5 rows. And all right, first 5 rows. Okay. Okay, and our data frame, the DF dot is the header. Okay, there's the header. All right, so we got this going, and then we're gonna run it. All right, so let's check it out. All right, save that, run it. That's looking at my file. It's huge, right? It's huge. Poof, there it is. All right, there's my first 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now some people are like, what is this? Well, there's more. There's more. But the thing is, I only asked for the first 5 rows. And here you have 0. That's index record 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's actually 5. If you're wondering what this is, well, the value in there is probably a long number, and it just changed it to scientific notation. Don't worry, we're just reading it to make sure, hey, can we preview the first 5 rows? Okay, so That's what we're doing. Okay, so you're okay. Now, if you don't have the play button, okay, I did tell some people, well, you could just type in Python. Okay, brings up the 3.11 executable. It's like an interpreter, and you could type in the name of your file, evlab.py. Okay, and it'll do the same thing. Okay, so it'll do the same thing. So that's for those who don't see the play button. If you don't see the play button at the top, all right, but you should see the play button. If you have everything installed and you have this recognized as a Python file, you should see everything. Okay, all right. So I got this right. So everything's going. All right, I'm gonna keep this here. All right. So we're gonna see if we could do something else, right? So for right now, it looks like we have everything going. Right? We have all the file shape. So we're ready. So here we go. So no, I don't need to keep this. This was just to preview the file. All right. So we're gonna keep this one here, right? Because we're loading up Pandas. But okay, what we're gonna do is. Keep that in case we mess up. I can always see, so you can see progression. All right, we're gonna import Matplotlib. Okay, Matplot. Okay, lib. All right. So you can see my mind's everywhere. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into PyPlot. Yeah, there we go. Okay, PyPlot. So this is gonna count vehicles by model year and EV type, and then it's gonna plot it. Okay, so Matplotlib is a library package. It allows you as a graph, but we're gonna do PyPlot so you can start plotting the information. And since I don't feel like typing all this, let's call this BLT. Yeah, let's call this BLT. Try to make sure, because I'm trying to remember what I've seen a lot of folks do. So as far as when I read other people's code, I see a lot of common things. So now, can I put this here or can I put this at the top? You can put this anywhere if you wish. You could put this at the top if you want to. Okay. Again, I'm just importing it. All right. So I imported matplotlib.plot. Now if I run it, I'm not gonna see anything except for the first 5 rows, right? All right. So what I'm gonna do is I need something that's gonna keep only the 2 EV categories that we care about. All right. That's all we're gonna do is 100% EVs, hybrid plug-in. That's it. So by types, okay, all right, types of interest, create a variable, but I'm gonna create an array. That's my nice little list. This is my list. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call it, let's call it battery, battery electric. Yeah, battery electric vehicle. Okay, and BEV. Try to make it look nice and pretty. All right, that's what you call a 2-dimensional array. All right, plug in. All right, hybrid electric vehicle. Yeah. Yeah, we're good. All right. So that's my array list. Now I'm going to create another data frame. It's called, I was going to say _2, but let's say 2. Another data frame. So I'm going to take the first one that we did. All right. I'm going to add it to the array. All right. So as another data frame. Like, what? Okay. You're going to see why. You're going to see how this works. All right. So electric vehicle type, right? Yeah, right. And then I'm gonna close this out. Okay, so I'm the other is in. Okay, remember that column? That's where that column is. Electric vehicle type is in that column. So types, okay, of interest. Okay, that was the one we did at the top here. All right, so I'm gonna take this. All right, that's here. Okay, and then dot copy. Okay. All right, so it's gonna grab only 2 vehicle types, all right? It's gonna count only 2 vehicle types, but it's always gonna take it by year. So 2 vehicle types, that's all we're doing right now, and then we're gonna go by year, all right? So right now, we just grabbed vehicle types only in that whole sheet, okay? All right, now I'm gonna count how many vehicles by year plus type. We already got all the vehicle types, right? We all loaded into a list, but then we're gonna go and count by year and by type, right? So let's call something growth. Okay, so I'm gonna take my second data frame, all right? I'm gonna do a group by, all right? Some of you took SQL, you're like, oh, yeah, because I'm taking that whole table and grouping it, okay? And I'm grouping it by, okay, oops. All right, so you can actually see it. By, remember they're the headers, model, year. Remember there's a model year. And if you're not sure, you could always go back and bring it up and then close it and do a split screen, okay? If you're not sure, you can always do a split screen and look for the header. So I got model year, okay? Model year and electric vehicle type, okay? So if you can't remember, okay, you can always bring it up, all right? So you wanna make sure you type it, because if it's not there, it's like, oh, can't find the column. All right, electric vehicle type, okay? So, because it's gonna look for it, that's how it's gonna sort by. If it's not there, there's nothing to sort by, okay? So, boop. Now, tab over dot size, okay, here's size. Okay, now remember, I'll explain to you how it's doing that. It's gonna group it, right? And then it's gonna reset, all right? So it's gonna reset after it finds the first group, it's gonna reset it, but we're gonna name it as count. Okay, we're naming it count. All right, so remember, it's gonna start at 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then it's gonna get the next group, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's gonna group it, all right? So we need to do that. So then when we do that, we're gonna sort it. Sort it by what? Model year, of course. So, I think it said model year. See, now I don't remember if it says that. So let's double check. I think I'm gonna keep it here. So let's go there, and so it says model year. Yeah, model year. Yeah, I spelled it right. Okay, so it says model year. So let's move this over. So it says model year. So our name, count, model year. All right, so looks like I'm good, but I'm not done yet. All right, then I'm gonna print, because once you got that all stored in a variable, we want to print it out, right? All right, so new line. All right, count, okay, by year and type, okay, and we're gonna do sample. Okay, so comma, and we want the growth. Oh, there it is. I put growth. There it goes. Now 10. Now you're gonna wonder why 10. Okay, so I'm just telling you, you're gonna wonder why 10. So just bear with me. So when you see this, so we're gonna grow. Some people say growth. Oh no, not growth. The header. Ooh, I almost forgot that. Ooh, I would have had errors like, ooh, what the errors were for. All right, so check this out. All right, so I got that. Now, we want years on rows, all right, and the EVs on the columns, right? So what I'm gonna do is growth underscore pivot equals growth. Now, somebody says, where's the growth coming from? Well, that's growth. This is just a new variable I'm creating, all right? Dot pivot. Okay, so now I'm taking this, okay? And I'm using the option for pivot. Remember the pivot table? Okay, so you're right, so you still the pivot table. Remember how the pivot table works in Excel? All right, so what I'm gonna do is, remember my index record, okay, equals model year, okay, because remember, look at the first record. Columns, okay, equals electric, okay, vehicle, vehicle type. Okay, I'm going nuts. I gotta see it. If not, I'm gonna spell it wrong, and then I'm gonna be spending like all day trying to figure out like where did I mess up? Where did I mess up? All right, electric vehicle cover. But then I need the values, right? Values. Now I got my columns, and then I need my values. My values is gonna give me my rows. Okay, I'm checking. I'm checking. I don't see anybody in the street. All right, I'm just making sure. I felt a little bad. All right, so that'll be a number, right? Count. Ooh, did I spell it right? That should be capital. Why should be capital? I'll mess that up. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, I put count here, so. All right, so values count. Okay, and then I want to fill it. Okay, now you're saying if it's not applicable, there's nothing there, what do you want? I want a 0. If there's nothing there, put a 0. Okay, because I don't want to get like, oh, missing no value, blah, 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 blah. All right, so I got my pivot feature, all signed into my pivot growth. So this is all in this variable. Okay, so now let's plot the chart. Okay, so we created a pivot. Okay, so we can do counts by year. That's this right here, and type. So now we're gonna create an actual chart where it's actually gonna plot. So let me do growth. Now remember, I'm using the growth pivot, right? But I want options. I want to plot. Okay, I want to plot. I want to start a graph. And kind. And what now? When you say kind, it's gonna be a bar, area, a pie, scatter. In this case, we're using a line. Okay, so everybody see that? We're using the line. All right. So now some people say, hey, how can we use double quotes? You can use single quote or double quote. Doesn't matter as long as if you use double quote in the beginning, you better use double quote at the end. If you single quote, you better use single quote at the end. All right. So PLT. Now, if you remember what PLT was, that was at the top. Okay, where is it? Right here. Matplotlib. Okay, that's that Python plot. We changed it. We created the alias called plot. A PLT. So dot. So what we're gonna do? Looking for a title. We're gonna do title. Okay. Washington. Okay, that's gonna be a title. That's the title that's gonna show up on the chart. EV growth. Try to make it look really nice and professional. Type. And we'll put BEV power hybrid EV. Okay, so those are the plugins. Okay, so I got that. Okay, so that's gonna be my title. Then I'm gonna do PLT. This is gonna be my X label. Okay, so you can see how this is going, right? Model, year, and this is gonna be my PLT dot Y label. Okay, and we'll call this, let's say this number of vehicles, right? Yeah, number of vehicles. All right, so we got number of vehicles. All right, so we got the X going across, and we got the Y. It's gonna give us number of vehicles. So as the year goes up, if it goes up in cars, we should see something go out, right? So in my mind, I'm trying to visualize how this is gonna look. All right, so I need a legend, because everybody's gonna say, what the heck am I looking at? I know, right? So my legend, I'm gonna have title, okay, for the legend, EV, all right, type, all right, and then I'll have PLT dot height. I haven't used that in a while. Yeah, so this is gonna be my tight layout, okay? So I need that because it's gonna take all that information I have, it's gonna create a layout for it, it's gonna be nice plotted, but then I have to show it. All right, you have to show it. So I think I got it good. If I get any errors, or say column mismatch, you may see a big, huge number like 1108. When you're doing something like that, there's nothing wrong with the extension package. It's you're probably referencing a column that's not there. Okay, so but you can see where this previews the first 5 rows, and this will actually create the chart for us. So let's run it. And this is not really important, but you don't have to close it, but I do, so I'm gonna close it. So there we go. And there's my chart. All right, so it looked at my entire list, right? Looked at my entire list, and the number of vehicles, you can see 2000, 2005, 2010. This is real data. So I'm looking at this vehicle, just Washington State, at 2015, 2020, and then it goes up. Now, what you should be asking is, what caused the dip? Okay, what caused the dip? Well, remember, we're in 2026 now. So a lot of things going on. Those are usually probably, for that state, the tax credits probably ran out. Okay, so the expiration date was probably beginning of 2025 or at the end of 2024. The tax credit probably ran out. Double check to make sure I have records up to 2025, 2026. So you can see it had growth, and then it shot up. For it to go up, people were probably panicking because the expiration was going soon. But you can see the steady growth, and then all of a sudden it shot up. So, but that gives you an idea, right? This is battery electric vehicle, the battery electric vehicle, all right? So we didn't do the, how can I put it? The power yet. So try to imagine what this looks like, all right? So, and I wonder what I could have done to change that. Right type, because this, I don't want to be misleading anybody. It should be versus model year. I was thinking about just adding something else in there, just to make a change. Just make a change. I was thinking about adding the other part of it. All right. Yeah, because when I saw this, it was confusing. So make sure you have a versus in there. But I'm missing my line. Okay, so all right. So we got that, right? We have that. So looks like everything's good. So it's grouped by, and you saw the size and the basic trend. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scrub this. No, it should work. No, it should be fine. I swear, I feel like I'm missing something. All right. Anyway, all right. So what we're gonna do is map vehicle locations in Washington. Okay, we're gonna create just a simple interactive map. Interactive map. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna import Folium. Okay, we're gonna import Folium. So keep in mind, and I gotta check. Oh, and I'm John D. Interesting. Hi, how are you? Okay, so I got somebody in the chat. How you doing? So, just to let you know, we're taking data from Data.gov and we're looking at electric vehicles in Washington State. We didn't want to take something from the entire country, but we just happened to pick Washington State, and the data is here. Okay, and it's lots of data. It's lots of data. So, and we're using Python. We're using Python to kind look at certain things and look around and do some sorting. Okay, so so now we're gonna build our interactive map. Okay, so the map we're gonna build is gonna build what's called a state of Washington. So this is gonna grab that's out there, and we have the latitude, longitudes. We have that. That's all there. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take information and we're going to create latitude and longitude for columns. We're gonna drop anything that has no coordinates. Like if I don't have a state in the information, if there's no nothing there for Washington, if it's not there, I don't want it. Okay, so it's gonna leave it blank. So I'm gonna lose some information. I'm gonna lose some customers. So I gotta make sure I have the data correct. All right, and we're gonna try to center the map according to Washington State. So you can go to Google Maps and look what the coordinates are, but we're gonna try to center it on our graph. But with Folium, you get to create a marker, circles, and you're gonna see how this slowly starts building, and we can start extracting vehicles to export out. So it's gonna be pretty cool. Now, this is a long bit of code. Okay, it's a long bit of code. All right, and I usually forget like something, because what we gotta do is we're gonna create a function, parse point. We'll call it parse point. So we're gonna create a function to run. All right, we're gonna use a data frame that we created here at the top. We're gonna create another data frame inside another data frame, so we create a subset in the subset. That's taking the information out of that entire cell, because we're looking for other bits of location, other bits of information. And the other bits of information we're gonna be looking for is the vehicle location. Okay, so where is it? I showed it at the top. We're looking at vehicle location. All right, so we're gonna need that. We're gonna need the vehicle location, which is gonna give us our state and state name. It's gonna give you a latitude and longitude of where that vehicle is as far as purchased. Okay, and then we're gonna have that go on the map, and then we're gonna do a loop. So the loop's gonna go, it's gonna plot points on the map so fast. At first, it's gonna look a little slow, and then when it's done, it'll generate an HTML file and pop it up. Now, it takes a little bit of time, okay? It's not gonna take a long time, but it's gonna be a little bit, all right? It's gonna be a little bit. So let's see how that goes, right? So let's check it out. So we need to import RE, okay? So, and then oh man, I keep doing that. All right, just to let you know, RE is called regular expression library. Okay, it helps. It's like a library consisting holding a whole bunch of information, and what it does, it goes out. It helps Python search, find, and extract specific text, or it can look for patterns. So if you have a huge file, you could actually look for patterns. So we want it to look for RE, we need to go in and look for coordinates. When it finds for coordinates, and then it's gonna poof, put it on the map for us. So we're gonna take point. So we need the longitude and latitude. We need longitude and latitude. That's what we need, and that's what RE is for. It's gonna take because that's a lot of data. All right, and then the Folium is gonna take that information and generate an HTML, and it's gonna have points all on the map for us. So that's what RE. So I just want to make sure everybody understands what RE is, because it could be like a little weird and like nobody knows, like, what the heck is that? What the heck was that? All right. So import RE and import Folium. I know I just spelled it wrong. I was going nuts. All right, so try All right, I don't see anybody else in the chat. So that's why I keep looking. So, but again, I'm John D. Awesome. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna create a function. We import RE, import Folium. Okay, we're not using it, but we're gonna create a function, df, and it's called parse point. Let's just call it parse point. We could call it anything we want. So, but what I'm doing is point. All right, now you now that's just a parameter. We're creating a function, and inside we have a parameter in there, right? All right, so boop, boop, boop. This is for multi-line, but I didn't want that. Usually it works. It's like me making multi-line notes. Convert. I was trying folks tell students, and so I try to tell students you could use multi-line instead of the hashtag, or I call it the ampersand. No, the pound sign. Point. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. This is gonna be longitude, latitude. Okay, this is why maybe you don't mix it with single quotes and double quotes, right? So into lat line. Okay, so I'm only doing this so if you guys can type it later, so you know, what we're typing below is what it's for. Yeah, I'm doing great. And you? It's kind of cold where I'm at. It's freezing. Okay, it's freezing here. So, all right. So that's all I did. All right, that's all I'm doing. So right now I'm going to do an if statement. Okay, do an if statement in my function. All right. So I'm doing if PD. Remember that's Panda. If PD dot is okay. ISNA. If you guys remember. Point. And what was it? str. Yep. So I gotta do a do. If this, okay, return none. This is the case I have nothing in there, right? Because I know I'm gonna have. I bought an app on my iPhone that also has the name Folium. It has absolutely nothing to do with Python, but is it? Oh, funny. Oh, it's funny. And what's crazy is that there's so many programs out there that with Python, like with this, we're just doing data science. You have Pygame, you could create 2D, and then with the packages, you could do 3D games. So it's not 2D, you could just do 3D games. But yeah, now you have programs out there that it's just the gaming engine, the technology. If you have the right device, oh yeah, it's no brainer. You can start creating stuff. I tell my students, instead of playing games, make them, and make some money out of it. All right, so we'll create another variable. This is where we're gonna do the search. Okay, remember we talked about the search, RE. So RE is used so we can look for patterns, look for specific tats. All right, so I'm gonna do R. So what am I looking for? All right, remember that point? Oh, yeah, remember that point? I'm gonna have my spreadsheet up because I know if I'm missing something. So, and star slash. Now, this is a subset of, like, we're looking inside of something, slash S. And I always mess this up because I'll end up having point slash S star, we're looking for everything, slash, open parentheses, slash S, another star. Okay, because remember how we have some things that are like missing numbers? Okay, open square bracket. And then we have negative latitude, longitude. All right, so that's D. All right, period, close square bracket, plus close parentheses. I always tell students, you're going to save this. All right, slash S plus, remember, latitude, because you have negative and positive longitude. All right, so I have my close square bracket plus close parentheses slash S. Okay, then I'll have my bar card looking. Okay, slash. All right, then you have close parentheses. Okay, and do you have a double quote? All right. Whoo! Now, I bet you that's going to be wrong. I'm probably missing something. All right. And then, of course, your str. And we're looking for point str. Okay. Now, if, okay, there's nothing there, okay, if not M, okay, what do you want us to do? Return none, comma, none. Okay, because remember that's parameter. Because if M, okay, not M. I was thinking of another program now, another language. All right, so if there's nothing there, yeah, definitely. Plus, making games must be so fun, nice. You can literally make them using your own preferences. Yes, nowadays. You're so true, I'm Johnny. So true. So right now I have my longitude, right? So we're gonna do LN because that's the variable we're using. Float. The reason why we're using float because the numbers are longer. Okay, they're longer than 4 decimal places. They're long. So M, all right, and we're gonna put them in the group. Okay, and that's good. And latitude. Okay, also a float. Put them also group. Okay, and then we'll return lat, comma, long. Okay. So I again, we're putting all that in group 1, group 2, because that's how we want it, right? Brrr, because then it's gonna start plotting. Okay. So now we're gonna create columns. We got this. This converts points into longitude, latitude. We have it. Now we're gonna create latitude, longitude columns, okay? Because remember, we have them all in columns the way that thing is set up. So, need another one. So, another array within an array. The reason why, because we have lat, yep, comma, comma, long, okay, and that's one set, right? Because we're looking at 2-dimensional arrays. And then we're gonna go into, all right, so we're defining this, all right? So then we're gonna go into vehicle location, right? Vehicle location, square it. Yeah, so that closed. So, and then apply, okay, lambda. Now, lambda is the mean. If you guys remember lambda, people forget that. Like, what the heck is lambda? If you took stats class, you should know lambda, okay? So X, and then we got PD, okay? Remember Panda, series, okay? Parse, and that was parse point. Now, if you remember at the very beginning, that was that parameter that we used at the very beginning. Okay, so I just want to make sure. But now you have parse point. So what is that going to be? That is whatever X is. Okay, because we're trying to go across. Okay, we're trying to go across. All right, so that should be. That should be good. Okay, that should be good. Yeah, that should be good. Looking, yeah, definitely plus making it. Okay. I'm looking. I'm Jandy. I'm looking to see if you're typing in there. I'm like, this is it. I feel like I'm gonna miss you. I'm excited because we have someone. Watch it. Okay. In that, make sure you definitely gonna have coordinates that are missing. So you want to drop missing coordinates and keep only the ones that should be there for Washington. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. So that's where the map, we're gonna create another variable because we need to identify that. So data frame dot, we need to drop, and we need to drop not applicable ones, like there's nothing there. Okay, and subset. And what are we looking for? We'll look at if we have empty latitudes and longitudes. Oops, latitudes and longitudes, right? All right, so we're looking for empty ones. Oops. We're looking for empty ones because if there's any empty ones, drop it. That's why I said we start losing our data. And now you're getting a sense when you look at real data and you got it, what if you had 5 million records, but then as I found million, you got maybe 50,000 that's missing stuff. And you drop them because it's gonna make, you can't be able to run your report. Or you pay someone to actually go and look for it. But then you need somebody to double check, did that person do it right? So now I'm gonna use map.df, okay? So what we're gonna do is, it's gonna look for other empty ones. So map, okay? Now this is interesting. This is if there's nothing in state, okay? So whatever we have in state, we wanna say it needs to, we need to go in the state column and look for WA only. Because now how based on the latitude and longitude, some states, they're not square, they're like curved, but the latitude may put that state, that car in Washington state, but it's not, it's actually Oregon, okay, or Idaho. So we don't want that, we want Washington. But again, gotta clean the maps. I mean, clean your data. So square, and then we're looking for state, okay, and we'll close that. We need to make sure it's equal to WA. Then we gotta make sure that everything that says Washington is all caps. Okay, I'm still here, honestly, very lost on what's going on. All right, so I started off in the beginning. When you get a chance, I'm John D. In the very beginning, we created, we took a file from Data.gov and grabbing all of the records as far as how many EVs that were actually purchased in Washington State. Well, not purchased in Washington State, are in Washington State. Like we have all battery vehicles. And we're looking at all the data on powered hybrid electrical vehicles, so PHEVs, like hybrid plugins. So we're doing a comparison of their growth to see how many of them, how they have grown over the past years. So like since 2000. So when I first ran it, you saw a chart where it started since 2000, it went up steady, and then it shot up like 2020. And then it dropped. And then we'll look and you'll see like that's where the data collection stopped because we don't have any more current stuff. We have to wait till the next quarter. Well, actually, it should be coming out in February because that'll be they had to the end of the year to come out with all their numbers. And we're gonna create a map, and it's gonna be interactive, and it's gonna show where each location of those cars are on the map. It's like real crazy stuff. So today is pretty much data science. That's why I wasn't there. Okay, pretty much today is just data science analytics, where last week I did a little games, and I'll do some more games tonight using Unreal Engine. But yeah, on Mondays I use Maya and Python, and Wednesdays Python. Okay, so the file you downloaded is a bunch of text. Yep, Python script. Some people say, well, why can't we use Excel? It's a lot of data. And the thing is, you're subsetting, you can click and punch, all that stuff. But then when you start looking at geospatial, Excel has some things, but what you want to do that we're going to do, create an HTML file, Excel can't do. You would actually have to buy like third-party software and spend like, I don't know, if you work for a company, depending on the license, it could be like $1,000 a year, which could end up being like $100 or $200 a month. When you could write it in Python and you're done with it. So, but yeah, we're almost done. So what we're gonna do is, all right. So this is dropping coordinates. All right. So just dropping missing coordinates in Washington. All right. So that's dropping missing coordinates in Washington. All right. Now, and then the next one we're gonna use to kind of use a sample so the map loads first. I mean, fast for students, right? So we're gonna do something that's gonna load fast for students. Okay. So check this out, right? So map sample, all right, equals map, and what we're gonna do is, we got a data frame again. Dot sample, okay, and n equals the min. Let's say 1500, and the length of records. Okay, map, and remember it was that data frame. That's this up here that we're using. And when you set this up, this starts getting really easy. And then we'll do it random state. Okay, and it's 42. Okay. So now I'm not done yet. Let me close this out. It's not done yet. So it won't create anything yet. We don't have it exported out as an HTML file. Okay. So if I run it, it'll do something. It's just stored in values, but it won't generate HTML yet because we didn't tell it to do it yet. All right. So we're gonna take this as our map sample, and we can increase it. Let's create another variable. We'll call it Washington Center because we want to be in the middle. We don't want to be like random all in the corner, and then we gotta figure it out. So 47.5. Some people say, where'd you get 47.5 from? Well, if I go into last night, I went into Washington, looked at the Google Earth, and I looked at the Washington State, and I wanted to know where the latitude and longitude. That would give me the center of the Washington State, and that was 47.5. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Everybody's like, well, how'd you know that? Well, that's why you use Google Earth. And then I use m equals Folium. Now I'm gonna use Folium. That's the program you were using, and we're using where is it? Yep, map. I keep forgetting it was lowercase or uppercase. So we're gonna use the map program. Now this has options. How would you identify what info the file means? What, like, let's say the location of the vehicles. How does it know it's a location and not a bunch of random numbers or letters? You wouldn't. And that's where you need to kind of inspect, and that's what we did in the very beginning. Inspect the data that you have. Okay, so if I'm looking at my vehicle location, like you see all the columns, so this is what I'm looking at. So you need to do like a random sample and see that the information you have is correct. Remember that 47.5? When I used Google Earth, that's where it took me. It took me to that location. If that's what you're mentioning, if that's what you're saying, that's what you're asking. So I'm actually looking at it where I'll inspect this and take some random samples, all right, and plug them in Google Earth and see, am I going to Washington State? So if this was fake information, then I'm like, I would have to really look in there to see out of all this, all right, and I'm doing spot checks. I'm like screening spot checks if I'm looking at fake information, okay? You can sort it out in Excel and say, is there anything outside the range of this latitude, longitude, doing like the four corners, like doing an imaginary rectangle and identifying each four corner point. But that's the job of a data scientist or a data analyst. You want to make sure that your data is clean before you do anything, and then run a script, or not even a script, use Excel to see if there's anything outside of that range, and then extract it out. Write a script to extract it out, and use Python to take that information and, like, the stuff that's out of that range, take the stuff that's in the range and rewrite it to a new file. So now you got a new file of everything that's in range. So, but yeah, that's a good question. What if these are all random numbers put out all over the place? All right, boom. Now here's the next thing. What if this random numbers put all over the place within Washington State? Well, then that means the data that you got from Data.gov is wrong. And no one would really know until they did a random sample and reached out to see in the Washington Department of Transportation to see if those VIN numbers that you see here are actually in the city, okay? In the city and state. Just do a random sample. So you could say out of all these records, and I have how many? Almost 272,000 records. So out of all these records, do a random sample of, like, say 100. Okay, so that's like gives you like the margin of error to see if anything is outside the state. One, and take that group and inspect them and check to see against the Washington Department of Transportation as far as that VIN number matching it to be in that city and in that state. In other words, based on the registration. It won't tell you the name of the owner, well, unless you have that type of access, but to verify that's in that state and that city. If you see that you're off, you want to reduce that margin of error. You could increase your sample size by reducing the margin of error. The more, you're never going to get to 100% unless you just test everything. And for that 272,000 records, you're not going to have one person do it. You're going to have multitude people do it. One person does the whole thing, then that person double checks that person did it, and another person double checked that the first two people did it. And they don't know each other. They're all like different parts of the country or different parts of the state. So that is done. So try to imagine, wow, the question you just asked, yeah, that goes on in real life. I mean, if you're trying to make sure your data is actually valid and legit, I think that's where the government gives incentives to organizations and companies and businesses and other agencies. Hey, townships, local government, state government, hey, provide us with this information. Here's your incentive. We'll exchange it in funding, because you want to know what's actually going on. And when you have that data at a federal level, you can make decisions, all right, based on that data that's coming from the lower level organizations. And that's what's companies want to be more competitive. And it's not all about, oh, I'm gonna hire this coach because he has a gut feeling. Well, that coach is gonna be gone, and then you have this other person that is taking the science out of it and saying, I'm not just watching players. I have data where how much time he spends on the court, when he gets tired, his production, who can guard him, how that person's doing. It's all down to science. And then guess what? If you have that information, it's correct, then that coach can make better decisions to win a game. But in the final 10 seconds, it's all about, okay, who got it? But to start the game and the majority of the game, it's all data. So, but that's a good question you asked. I feel like we're in class and I'm talking to a student. So, but that's a good question you asked. What if the data is all at random, right? Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, but again, I'm looking at the latitude, longitude, so I can make myself center. But then you can write a script to kind of make sure that the data you have is legit. Like right now, I put anything that's empty, ignore. Okay, so I don't have how many. I don't know how many bits of data that's not even there. Okay, so unless I do another sort and do a count of how many records I have where it's missing data. So, but again, this is for like class purposes. Is it possible to automate something that checks if info is correct on a file? This one, even if it isn't a location? Yes. Yes. If you know what you're looking for, remember RE? Remember RE? RE, you could tell RE to actually look for patterns that's out of the ordinary, okay, and do a count. So you can actually write a script to look up for errors, okay? And how do you look for errors? Well, if your data is supposed to look like this, all right, it's gonna look for anything that's not like this, okay? That's how you can find errors. And that's a script, and you can automate it. You could automate it, press a button where it opens up a file. As soon as it opens it up, it scrubs it, okay? And that's what, and that's what's so amazing about technology right now, because a lot of folks were saying, well, that's us losing jobs. No, it's not. We're taking the tedious jobs away. Well, Washington Center. All right. So us as human beings, we can focus on other things. And the problem is, a lot of folks are like, well, we don't have other things. What do you mean you don't have other things? You got a whole bunch of stuff you can do. Well, I can't. So that's the thing that when you see all these jobs that we're losing, and I'm talking about, and I don't want to get into politics, but jobs that we're losing, that's other stuff that due to technology, this and that, we're not losing, they're just being looked at as something different. All right, so I'm doing a for loop. So it's for row in map. I didn't want to change the subject, but it's like tolls. When we went to Easy Pass in almost every state now, they say a lot of those people lost their jobs. Yeah, you're right. Their jobs changed. They had the options where now they're database scrubbers. They're looking at images where our cameras couldn't catch. And they're sending letters out, this and that, dealing with phone calls. I mean, you still have that, but a lot of folks didn't want to sit there. They liked being outside and this and that. And, well, yeah, I understand, but the jobs have changed. All right, so Folium dot circle, okay, because I want a circle marker. Circle marker means when it identifies, I'll take a coordinate. What inspired you to start this script? Just to have a fun little project? Yeah. What started me to start this script was I got a couple emails from folks. It looked like it was a couple of college students and a couple of high school kids. They said, can you do something where it grabs a large sample of data and have it create like a map somewhere? Like you see in the elections where you're like, oh, I said, yeah, let's just go to Data.gov and just grab something, grab anything and just do it. So Folium.circle marker. Now, what this is gonna do is gonna create a circle, okay, for every location. So for every car location that we have, there's a latitude, longitude, okay, we're gonna have it create a circle. So location, and remember that list, it's rows, okay? And that's in, remember rows, right? Remember that rows array? We're looking for lat, okay? Then we're gonna close that, comma, open another one, and then we're looking for row, okay? Ooh, I put rows. I was wondering why I still had a warning. Row, lat, and in the same row, I'm looking for line. That's longitude, okay? So with this, what do I want? What do I want in this? And let me put this right here to make it clean. So in this, it's gonna find that point, right? Now it's gonna create something, because if I don't, it's gonna give me a default of 1. Let's make it 2, so it's like nice, like a nice size, right? So the size of the circle, and we're gonna fill it, because I don't want it to be empty, because when it's empty, then you're like, oh, you can't really see it. So true, yes, we want to fill it, okay? And then the opacity, all right? How deep or thick, I mean, do you want it like transparent, this and that? So fill opacity. I should have seen an autofill. I'm missing something here. And my pop-up? Yeah, pop-up's here. wonder why my opacity is not there. Fill equals true. Fill opacity. Pop-up came out. All right, so pop-up. We want to do a format, and this is going to be our template. We want to look at the row, and inside the row, okay, we want to do make. So this is where if I put my mouse over the circle, I want a pop-up window to show up. And what am I looking for? I want the make to be in there, okay? The make. So I got my close bracket, so that's gonna be the make. I'm trying to think, do I want anything else? I'm trying to think if I want anything else. Model, give me the make and model. Ooh, jeez, I didn't even think about that. So in the same row, okay, in the same row, it should be curly bracket again. Row, I was wondering why they didn't give it to me. Looking at that same array, so I want model. Okay, so it's gonna give me the model, close, square bracket, array, and we'll do another one. All right, so we're gonna have another one. So we're gonna have model year. So for every circle, for every circle, we're gonna have, when you put your mouse over it, you're gonna see the make, the model, and the year. Okay, so the make, model, and year. So we'll have curly bracket row again, and it's square, it's an array, and inside we're gonna have model year. Now the name model year is from that spreadsheet, so if I'm off, okay, it's not gonna find it. Okay, it's gonna be jacked up, it's not gonna find it. And square, curly bracket, straight colon, poof. Get my pop-up. Something is missing. It's like something's missing here. Hold on. I have my location. Does model include the brand? If not, you should add the brand. Well, you have your make, right? Your make is the manufacturer name. So that's your brand. So it's like Honda, Tesla. So that would be your brand. The make will be what type? Like cereal, you have your brand, which is Kellogg's. I don't know what the other one, Nestle, whatever. So if you have Kellogg's, that's their brand. But inside Kellogg's, you have Special K. Okay, that's your cereal type. And then Special K, you have your strawberry one, your chocolate, and all that type of stuff. So I feel like I'm missing. Yeah, I am missing them. So I have, hold on, my 4 row in map sample. Okay, 80 rows. That's good. Folium circle marker. Okay, so location. I'm missing something. Okay, so this is open. So that should be closed. It says there's another parentheses. And I have location equals open square bracket, close square bracket. Okay, so I got this. Okay, so open square bracket, close square bracket, and then here open square bracket, close square bracket, comma. So this is good. All right, so this is good. Then I have radius 2. Now it changes colors because I knew I had something. This wasn't changing. All right, radius 2. Fill equals true because I want the circle to be filled. And the fill opacity 0.6. You can make it darker. Remember, it's from 0 to 1. Okay. Then you have your pop-up. So I got my format, curly bracket, square. Okay, remember I got my parentheses up here. Square bracket, that's gonna give you my make. That's my format. Then the next one, boom, curly bracket row, open square bracket, that's my next format. Close, awesome. Then here, yeah, because this is separate. All right, open parentheses, square bracket, curly bracket row, square bracket model year, square bracket, curly bracket close. And then I have There you go. Add an extra square bracket. That's why. I was like, jeez. Okay, close parentheses, and then it's gonna add. And then we're gonna add 2. Where is it? Yep, add 2. M. M, that's this. Okay, so we're taking all this and we're putting it to M. We're adding it, so it's appending it. So whenever I run this, it's gonna run my nice, beautiful map. All right. All right. So now I want to save it. I'm gonna take m.save. All right. This is it. All right. The file name I'm gonna use. We're gonna call it Washington EV underscore map.html. Okay. Okay. And then just to make sure when it's done, so I know it, so we know it's done. /n. All right. And I'm gonna say map saved as Washington EV. I could just copy it. So I'm doing this as if I'm doing this for somebody else. Okay. HTML. So, and then open it in your browser. Okay. All right. So can't wait to see it run. I hope so. All right. So let's save it. Let's run. There's my first scrubbed. Okay. Now my HTML should be done. Okay. So it doesn't pop up right away. All right. So I have to bring up file. Okay. I'm going to bring up file manager. My old term file explorer. And in my same directory, right? So I should see it where if I go here, bring my right back and man. Oh, I know what I did. I forgot to write a script saying once this runs, it stops. So I need to close it. Then it runs my HTML. So here I have an error. So now remember when I told you when I told you guys when you see a high number of 694, like large numbers, and your data is only like 7-8 lines of code, that means I referenced a column that's not there. So it looks like state. Looks like state is the one that's not there. Hold on. Let me run this again. I'm gonna run it again. Okay, so this ran. Close it. Line 57, vehicle location. Oh. Line 57. All right. That's my lap lawn. So I created a data frame. So let's look. Okay, data frame, this is right. So my data frame for vehicle location. It says it's wrong. Hold on. Let me see if my file. What's this? Okay, so what I'm looking for is, what was it? 57. Vehicle location. I probably spelled it wrong. Vehicle, there it is, vehicle location. Vehicle location. Vehicle location. Okay, so I spelled it right. Lambda. Yeah. Apply lambda, that's the mean. series parse underscore x. Yeah. But hold on. It's like I can't find it. Can't wait to see it. What you thinking? I'm looking at my name location is spelled correct. So it's how I am applying it to map the mapped object. So I'm not converting it. Oh man. I know it's taking data. It's this. Hold on. Did I not use that parse point? Hold on. I thought I addressed that. There it is right here. Parse point. Point string. Not the data file. Okay, hold on. TF parse point for string. Boom. It's the function. All right. All I'm doing is converting. This is a conversion problem. If PD is the for string, return none. Boom. That's good. And we're doing a search. Remember I said this is probably going to be a problem before I did something over. R point slash S wildcard slash open parentheses slash S wildcard. Oh, it's this. Okay. Point. What vehicle location is used? What vehicle location is what you showed earlier? The lat and line. Yeah. That's correct. Point S slash S. Hold on. I'm trying to keep this on the screen for you so you guys can see. Okay. Vehicle location. Okay. So. Vehicle location. So if re.search hold on, I gotta bring the spreadsheet up. Did I spell it right? Look at everything here. Hold on. Point slash wildcard n plus slash s. Dog you. Hold on. Where's that? Where's model? Here, model. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, forgot what it was. Okay, all right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's how many things I'm moving over. I can't, it's not identifying the right column for the data. Close bracket plus, close parentheses, slash S plus, son of a gun. I told you I knew I was gonna mess that up. Square, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, minus slash D7 dot square plus, and it should be slash S. I think that's it. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, slash S1. Slash 2, and that gives me this. Okay, I think I got it. 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 Okay. Okay. I can hear my GPU kicking in. Yes, it worked. It worked. I can hear my GPU kicking in. I'm like, oh, and it just worked. All right, so it generated a map. And oh my gosh, there it is. There's my map. Because I told it to generate the same. Whatever. Okay. This is why I said it's always good to put a print thing so you know it's done. Yeah, let's go. All right. So open up. Let's open up in my browser. Open up. Open up with browser. And where'd it go? All right, hold on. Control O. There you go. Woo! All right, so you see how I'm centered in the middle of my screen? Okay, I'm centered in the middle of my screen. There's my dots. Those are the circles. And then as I zoom in, you can see where each car is located. Okay, based on the latitude and longitude. Latitude and longitude. This is scary, right? Now, if I put my mouse over it, there's Chevrolet Blazer 2024. Okay. All right. I go here. Nope, that's that. Now, the thing about it is, this is all based on the spreadsheet. So imagine you wanted to do the same thing for other states. There's your fiat. Let's say you wanted to do the same thing with other states. So you could take the same script and, like I said, go on Data.gov, take the same script and grab it, another state, and go in and change the state information. Because as long as you have the same columns, same rows, like the headers are the same, fine. And when I see headers the same, they don't have to be exactly in the same order, because right now you're using for RE to go and look for it. And then RE is going and grabbing that information and it's pulling it. So it doesn't matter what order it is in. Well, it does, because then what I did, I was running to probably had to count how many fields it was. But once you identify where your columns are, poof, you can bring it up. So out of that, not only you can show a chart, but you can actually take real life data and show, and I'm looking at the time. Oh my gosh, 4:51. I'm looking. You could actually show what cars are at. Now, if you're looking at this, based on the information that we have, right? Where are most of the electric cars at? You'll see a lot of them on the West Coast, all right? And predominantly near Seattle, all right? Yes, of course, that makes sense, city. And then you see Portland, all right? And then you see some out here, Spokane, but you don't see a lot up here because that's cattle country or whatever, right? That's big, huge farmland. And in other parts. Now, this is what I mean that you see the boundaries, like you can go off. This is where you need somebody to kind of scrub it to see how far folks are they inside the state of Washington or are they outside the state? Like if I'm looking up here, like I'm like right at the border, right? I'm right at the border. So you probably have a lot of people that may have cars here, okay? Based on where their registration is for their vehicle, like the VIN information. So it's not, it may here, but they probably bought it from here. So they probably go to work back and forth every day. So, but yeah, so there's your map. And that was based on 78 lines of code. Okay, so let's go back, let's close that. Okay, go back here. That was based on 78 lines of code. So you could take that information, and like I said, save it, and you could do something with, let's say your hometown, you're in New Jersey, and you're working for a car dealership, and you can see growth. Yeah, you can run your reports, but then you can grab stuff from the Data.gov and show your boss, like, look, this is where we're at in New Jersey, where most of the cars at. So, or somebody who's thinking about putting a restaurant up and say, hey, Dad, let's put a restaurant here and put some charging stations. What do you mean? Well, this is where a lot of folks who own cars, and if you have a restaurant and you have charging stations, all right, yeah, of course they pay, but they can park their car. While they park their car, they go and eat, all right? Wow, that's amazing. I think that's the thing you could add would be the zip code and maybe street name of the population. That's probably a tiny little change that could make it a little bit more fun. Yeah, I know. But anyway, it's like 4:54. Oh my gosh, I didn't think it was gonna be on this long. But this is great about geospatial features that you could put into Python. Python, you can grab some data, do some basic statistics with it without doing any fancy stuff. NumPy allows you to kind of do more than just standard deviation, look for regression and all that type of stuff and see if there's any similarities. And Matplotlib will take that information and plot a graph for you. Like I said, it went through that entire list, and you can actually see like this chart. I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay, so you can see the growth of this. Again, look at that data. Like for right now, I only had BEVs. What I should have done was put BEVs and put another chart with PHEVs, but I'll do that in another session. But anyway, I'm Johnny. Thank you for stopping in and participating. It was great. But like I said to everybody, Python, yes, an old language, but it's you can do a whole lot. You can do a whole lot that a lot of people are not aware of. So, but like I said, once you have that script to create that map with Folium, you're good to go, and you're out of here. Oh wow, that's amazing. That's probably a tiny little thing. So again, thank you everybody. But again, I'll be taking this and putting on the YouTube channel later on tonight. We'll go and have fun with Unreal Engine and play around and do some exploring, do some crazy stuff, and then we'll do the next session. But like I said, send the emails, send the messages, let me know what you want to do. I'm Johnny. Say, hey, why don't you add something else in there? Add some more labels. Yeah, we'll do that. But again, just remember, right now we only have with the pop-ups. Okay, we just wanted. Nope, that's the plot. Oh, where's my pop-up? With the pop-ups, I already had model and model year. So if you wanted to know the city, we could include that in there. Or just, oh yeah, because we have street addresses. And put the street address in there, all right? Because that would be freaky, right? Like, oh, I feel like that spy stuff. But from a marketing standpoint, you could do some crazy stuff, yeah. But other than that, see you guys, and take care and have fun. See ya.